Hi guys, and welcome to this, well, I would have to probably call it clickbait, because if that title above me and the opening of this video wasn't what got you arriving here, then nothing will, because maths does make me sick, but actually it makes me sick in a way that I mean BARF, and for those of you out there who don't know what BARF is, well, it's either a really odd place in the United Kingdom, lol, and I don't mean that it's beautiful there in Bath, or you could have mispronounced it and thought I was taking a bath with water, no, or bath as in being physically sick. That's what we're going to deal with. But before I get any further, hi, if you're new to my channel, thank you very much for dropping by. Could you do me a favour? Click that little doohickey in the corner. That would be greatly appreciated. Then you join my YouTube family. And it's a growing family. There are at least 12 people now watching these videos. Thank you very much. I'm never going to get famous for this stuff, but it's nice to know you're watching. So if you can click that button, that would be great. Now, what am I going to look at? Well, this is part of a module that deals with quadratics, and as such there's lots of different ways of solving quadratics, and in a previous video we very much looked at the T method, and there are more. There's the quadratic equation, there's completing the square, there is DOPS, and I'm sure there are others we don't know about. But the T method I love. I've loved it since day one because it works with practically every quadratic that we're given. It makes sense, it deals with factorising, it's factorising and factorising, life is good. But, you know what, I was lying in bed last night, which most of us do, that's not weird. And, you know, someone bought me a book, a maths book, and trust me, the last thing I could think of when I go to sleep at night is wanting to read a maths book. But this one was on algebra, and I thought, well, I'll give it a go, see what I learn. And you know what? It has me captivated. It is freaking awesome. If you don't know it, it is this book here. Ooh, slight pun. I'm not getting any money from this either. But the Bedside Book of Algebra. Don't know who bought it for me, but it's awesome. Thank you so much. And inside I found different ways of factorising quadratics. And one of them is called the BARF method. Now, again, behind me, still going with this slang about making me sick, and I'm pretty sure that maths makes many, many people sick, but not me. Now, I've already done the recap, so we're going to move on to the T method, and I've said I love the T method, because you draw a T. So if I look at this example here, what do we have? We have x squared plus x minus 6. Draw my T, multiply my A term and my C term. Again, if you're not sure what I mean by my A term and my C term, quadratics or trinomials, as we call them, have a standard way of being expressed. Ax squared plus bx plus c, where the a is the coefficient in front of the x squared, the b is the coefficient in front of the x, and the c is the coefficient in front of or on its own, the number. The constant term, as we call it in mathematics. So I'm going to multiply my a value and my c together to get minus 6. Then I find the factors of 6, and you'll notice I'm just doing all of them. My video last time said that you can stop halfway, not a major issue. I'm going to make one of these sides negative, and then I'm looking for two of those to add together to give me this middle coefficient of 1. So the only way I can add two of those terms together is give me minus 2 and 3. Now we continue. And I said the reason we do this is because we can't factorise 3 terms. So we do x squared minus 2x plus 3x minus 6. Now the reason we did that is we wanted to split that middle term up into 2. Because when I have 4 terms, I can factorise 4 terms better than I can factorise 3. I now factorise in pairs. So I go y is equal to x, x minus 2, and I have to take the maximum out for each set of pairs. And again, we factorise, and I say to you, can you see anything common? You go, yes, and we factorise again. So we have y is equal to x minus 2 and x plus 3. And life was good. And we've, you know, done that hundreds of times. Those of you who are watching this from my current maths group, you've done thousands of these and hopefully are now guns. But did you notice the shortcut? Yes, no, there was a shortcut. No, I didn't tell you. Shortcuts are bad. If you don't understand why you're doing them, then life isn't very good. But I'm just going to do this again. Same thing. Notice the coefficient in front of the x squared is a 1. We like that. So we get plus 20 on the top. So you get 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 4 and 5. And I'm just going to leave those there because I now can start shortcutting this. I know that if I make both of these negative, which is a big fat trick, then when I add those two together, I get the minus 9 that I'm looking for in the middle. There we go. There's my minus 9 I'm looking for. So, expanding this out gives me x squared minus 4x minus 5x plus 20. Factorising pairs gives me, take the maximum out, gives me x minus 4. Take out minus 5 gives me x minus 4. Yay, life is good. I can now write that as a factorised thing, that gives me x minus 4 and x minus 5. And now I'm going to tell you the shortcut. What did you notice about those two factors? They were minus 4 and minus 5. And what did you notice ended up in those two brackets there? Minus 4 and minus 5. What about here? Oh my goodness, they were minus 2 and plus 3. And once again, they are. Now, these shortcuts actually sadly only work when the coefficient is 2. When the coefficient is 1. I was looking at the 2. I got all carried away then. So when we now do this, and the reason I like the T method is it works with these. Those of you who do the cross method, and honestly, my mind just, I cry a little bit because that cross method is random. I don't understand it. It's voodoo. It's magic. So making those together gives me minus 12. I get 1 and 12, 2 and 6. 3 and 4. I'm going to make one of those minus, and loeth and beholdeth, I have minus 3 and 4. Now, sadly, I can't use my shortcut here because, yeah, this coefficient here is not a 1. So I have to go back to what I did before. 2x squared minus 3x plus 4x minus 6. I can now factorize pairs. I can take out x out of there, which gives me 2x minus 3. I can take out plus 2 there, which gives me 2x minus 3. And so y becomes equal to 2x minus 3, x plus 2. Now, as a side note, that could have been written the other way around. That's just as valid to write x plus 2 times 2x minus 3, because 2 times 3 is the same as 3 times 2. And with multiplication, we can swap the things around, so long as we keep that in brackets. Now, that was the T method. And then, ladies and gentlemen, this book, I'm just blown away. I'm doing this video completely out of the blue because it made me want to barf. What do you mean barf? Well, exactly that. BARF. B-A-R-F, which is an acronym that stands for brackets A, reduce and fly. No idea. Trust me. Brackets A, reduce and fly. You ask me tomorrow to remember that, not a hope. But when I remember the maths behind it, hopefully I will. So, the great thing about BARF is I find T factors, like I use the T method start again, as I did before. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to say, right, okay, so there's minus 12, 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4, and a bangity bang. Oh, no, not that one. Don't make that one minus. Don't get carried away. Boing, boing. And so there are my two factors. Now, interestingly, this is what you do. You bang them in as if that 2 didn't exist. So my next step is actually to write that as x minus 3 and x plus 4. Now you're going to say, hold on a moment, you said we can't do that. I know, this BARF stuff is incredible. Watch what now happens. Having done the brackets, I now move on to this A. And what it says is, I now take my coefficient, which was 2, and I divide each of my factors inside that bracket by 2. It's weird. Watch. This is what I do. X minus 3 on 2. X plus 4 on 2. Let's make that a little bit clearer. Sorry. X plus 4 on 2. So the reason I've got the 2 is it tells me to take my A term, my A value, and divide each of those terminals. Reduce. It says reduce, which means if you can simplify those fractions, simplify them. So as it turns out, that cannot be simplified. I get x minus 3 on 2. But I can simplify that to become x plus 2. And then it says fly. I don't know why. Now, please don't fly really. That's just dangerous. But what it then says is I now multiply where I have a denominator. I just shift it up. I multiply the x term. Random. So that gives me 2x minus 3, x plus 2. Now, the thing is, I reused that question. So did I have 2x minus 3 and x plus 2 when I did it before? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I did. Let's just do one more example, all right? Because this is just, well, it's voodoo. Now, behind me, I'm reusing the clip. Love it, all right? This is the guy from Princess and the Frog. If you haven't seen this movie, it is amazing. I love Disney. Thank you, Disney, for creating movies that allow me to put so much maths in them. Beauty and the Beast coming up one point. Beauty and the Beast. Fabulous, fabulous. Anyway, back to the maths. Going to use the same thing here with 6, and so the first thing we did, if you remember, was do the T method. And I'm looking for 6 times minus 21, which is huge. So minus 126. Now, you'll see me looking off camera because I may already have worked this one out. And as it turns out, my factors are 14 and minus 9. So having found those, what do we do now? We BARF, we brackets. So if you remember, just put x plus 14, x minus 9. Then we divide by the a term. So we have x plus 14 on 6, x minus 9 on 6. What do we do then? Reduce. So we have x plus 7 on 3 and x minus 3 on 2. And then we fly, where we have a denominator. We move it up to by the x in that bracket, which gives me 3x plus 7 and 2x minus 3. And as it turns out, that's the right answer. And now, if you are in my group watching this, please don't shout at me. I know, it seems easier, doesn't it? But it's a process. You get the process wrong, you're stuffed. Go back to the T method. It sort of makes sense to me. If I'm honest with you, this does not make any sense at all. I don't know why I'm doing it. All I know is I'm remembering BARF, brackets A, reduce and fly. But it seems to work, and it might seem a little bit quicker. Now, those of you who are watching this all over the world, I is Darren, and I is the MaffsGuru, and I is very lucky because I am British, you can tell, and Australian. They let me in. Thank you very much. And there is a method called Down Under method. Again, this is weird. It is voodoo, and I desperately want to play the clip again, but I won't. And the good news is it starts in exactly the same way as the T method. I know. So, new example, factorise that. Well, same thing. 6 times minus 10 is minus 60. 1 and 60, 2 and 30, 3 and 20, 4 and 15. So let's bang a minus in front of those. And as it turns out, I get minus 4 and 15. Put the BARF to one side. Now, if you remember with BARF, we just put an x in the brackets. Now, we actually put 6x. I know, go figure. So this time I do 6x minus 4 and 6x plus 15. All right, now what I then have to do is I have to go down under and put something underneath there, which just so happens to be a 6, right? Random. So, as I say here, we keep the first coefficient alongside the two factors and divide by the coefficient. Right, okay, so I'm actually just going to copy that down because I've written it in the wrong place. I'm too excited for my own good. 6x plus 15 on 6. So this section here, the bit above should have just been the T method. Right, then what does it say we do? Take out common factors from the binomials and simplify. All right, so what can I take out of my first binomial, of my first linear factor? 2. So I can take out a 2. And that leaves me 3x minus 2. What can I take out of 6 and 15? I can take out 3, so take out a 3 there. And when I take out 3 there, I get 2x and 5. And then what happens? I've got to divide that by 6. And lo and behold, 6 divided by 6 gives me 1. And so my factorized is 3x minus 2, 2x plus 5. Whoa, that seemed... Now, to me, I like that slightly less than BARF. The reason being is I've got to take 2 lots of factors out of those brackets, and if I make a mistake, I'm in all sorts of trouble. So let's just check when I when I FOIL this, do I get back to my original? 3x times 2x is 6x squared. That's 15x. There is minus 4x, and there is minus 10. And so 6x squared plus 11x minus 10. Was that my thing? 6 plus 11 minus 10? 6x squared plus 11. Oh my god, this is awesome. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's really... I don't have another example. Why? I know. I think this video is like 15 minutes long. It's enough. Maths is so awesome. There are lots of different ways of doing this. And I have to say, once again, this stuff seems like voodoo. The T method makes sense to me. BARF, I think I'm going to start using that. I'll certainly teach it, and those of you who can do it, absolutely awesome. But otherwise, I'm pretty much sure that that is my lesson over. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already done so, please, please, please do me the honor of subscribing by hitting that circular doohickey. And if you haven't subscribed, you are a tough cookie. Come on. Otherwise, there's a video loading over there for you to watch that's undoubtedly of a similar level. Thank you so much. Have an awesome day. This is MaffsGuru signing out. Bye-bye.